Hey world, this is Justin, and you are tuned to Anywhere the Needle Drops. And oh boy, do we have a fun episode for you today. This is a bit of a special episode. We sat down with Tanner Bednar of Chicago's Hollyy. That's Hollyy with two Y's. Just before their live show when they visited town at Sound Ben Records inside of Denolf's barbershop in downtown South Bend. So, the band rolled in, and while the rest of the band were getting their haircuts at Denolf, Tanner and I sat down to talk about all that's going on in their musical world, including their latest album, The Weight of This Heart, which you can get on vinyl right now. Just head on over through the links in the show notes to the website there, and you'll be able to order that vinyl. And let me tell you, they are fantastic. You're going to love the entire album, so you're definitely going to want to get your hands on a copy of that. You're going to get a little taste of what they do with the song coming up here in a moment, Feel So Lonely. But also be sure you head on over to the Red Chuck website, redchuckproductions.com, the blog entry for this particular podcast episode, because we've got a couple of videos there of the performance at Sound Ben Records. It was such a wonderful time, such a great thing they're doing there at Sound Ben Records, and Hollyy was just a fantastic band to have there. It's really cool. You're in this barbershop, and it has a very cozy atmosphere. I guess cozy is so overused, but anyway, it's a smaller space. It's inside this little barbershop, and it's just wonderful. The people gather in there. There's if you don't know, Sound Ben Records is actually a record store inside the barbershop. So already we're in the cool realm right there. You walk into this cool barbershop, and there's a wall of records there for Leo and Sound Ben Records. And records and t-shirts and candles and all sorts of other fun music-related gear. And then every so often they throw one of these live shows for us, and it was just such a fun time, such a fun atmosphere, everyone gathering together for the love of live music. So again, be sure to head over to redchuckproductions.com and hit the blog show notes for this episode so you can see those video performances. And then here comes my interview with Tanner of Chicago's Hollyy with two Y's, Hollyy. Check out the song coming up next, Feel So Lonely, and hop on over through the links in the show notes to see what Hollyy is up to these days, and enjoy the interview after. Thank you all. Here's to life.
So long. When will you be coming home? This town is singing field. This porch got flowers that bloom on the weekend. Seeing when you get home. I can't help falling in love with you. You've been away for too long. You're the keeper of my myself, the only one that can help. Oh, here I am. I feel so lonely without you, girl. I feel so I'm feeling lonely without. I hope that you can find a way to work it out. We can work it on out. Oh, work it out. We can work it on out. You've been away for too long. When will you be coming home? This town don't seem like it should. These flowers don't bloom like they used to. You'll see when you get home. I can't help falling in love with you. You've been away for too long. You're the keeper of my myself. You're the only one that can help.
All right, so we've got Tanner here from Hollyy in town. We're recording from Sound Bend Records at Denolf's in downtown South Bend. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, okay. So when Leo reached out about your show, I, of course, had to dip into the catalog and check out your music. You guys are Chicago-based, correct?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So how long have you guys been together as an outfit?
We turned 7 recently.
Okay, all right,
So
nice.
We've been in the world of indie bands. We're getting UNC status.
Yes, yeah. So, all right. So there are you all Chicago based? I know we talked to, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was a Notre Dame student formerly. So had
Yes.
some time in South Bend.
Ian/Liam.
Okay.
He helps us out with photography, videography. So he's not actually in the band, but yes, he's our Notre Dame guide.
Helping you around the South
had to
Bend
be
scene.
here as we're coming down to South Bend. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. All right.
Yeah, we're all Chicago based though.
Okay, cool. Okay, so it's your first time on the show, so we got to go back and do the origin story. That's kind of get people to know you. So, you are the vocalist, and are you the primary songwriter then, or is it a shared?
Yeah, I would say in Hollyy, there's something called Nashville style, and we mean it in this band where it's like there's never really been a primary songwriter.
Yeah.
Everything's very evenly split. Most things, I would say. And when it comes to songwriting, it's like anyone has an idea, anyone has a song lyric, anyone has a riff. It's always just been that way. And then either it's like pretty built out already, or we just build it out as a group. It's hard to say if there's a primary songwriter in this band because there really just isn't. So.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily like a single starting point. Like some musicians, they start with, I've got this lyric first, and then I'm going to figure out the music from there. Or some people sometimes, have a riff and go from there. So is there a singular way you guys go, or it just depends on who's bringing it to the table?
Yeah, I think it mostly just depends who's bringing it. Everyone has their own style. Some people, like I personally, can only tend to write from like a riff or anything on a guitar first, then I take that mood and I more or less bring words into it.
Yeah.
I've tried to get better at like jotting down phrases, ideas, lyrics, just in general that like in a book over the last like year and a half, or even on my notes pad. Like it's definitely the notes pad on the phone.
Yeah.
These days. But everyone's kind of different. And sometimes it's nothing. Like sometimes like, hey, I have this idea. I'm thinking about like a beach. What do you guys think? And we're like, okay, that's pretty nothing, but yeah, let's go from there. Or it's like, hey, I have this whole song. I have 3 verses, full bridge idea. Why don't you just like listen to what I have, and then we'll go from there. So
Sure.
it's everything, dude.
Yeah. Well, there are 6 members of the band. 5 members? 6. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of ideas and background coming into one space. I mean,
A lot of
that's
cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting because collaboration can be, when it comes to one of the most fulfilling things, but it also brings a little bit of tension in that there's a pull this way and a pull that way. When you're talking 6 people, how do you guys settle on a song and settle on like where you want to take an idea and when it's finished, and any of those decisions in that process?
Yeah. It's a pretty battle to the death style. I don't know. I mean, we have our somehow we have our ways, our like unique band tiffs and argument styles of getting through things, but at the same time, it's like we also don't. Like we have a good approach. I think when someone's like really stirring an idea, we respect that. If someone like has a personal example of a song that they're bringing to the table, we try and respect that. And then, from there, it's just like we're just adding layers, pieces, flair, our own instruments to it. So
Yeah.
it's been, any indie band that tells you that they like perfectly, smoothly get through any sort of the creative process have either like never played a show in their life or are liars. But it's just like, you deal with personalities and you get through it, and you're all like such good friends at the end of the day, where it's like you learn how to do it, just like a sibling.
Sure, yeah, or a relationship. That's like when you hear from someone like, "Oh, me and my girlfriend, we never fight," and it's like, really, because like honestly, if you don't, something's wrong, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, so I said we're gonna get into the origin story. So, when did Hollyy form, or not when, but how did Hollyy form? You know, and how did you guys all come together and get to know each other?
Yeah. As I was getting my haircut just now, shout out.
Yeah, Denolf's Barbershop. Again, we're sitting here at Soundbend Records at Denolf's Barbershop, who is graciously giving a cut to all the band members while we sit here.
I know, now they're all over there lined up getting chopped.
Yeah, that's what you're hearing in the background, folks. You're hearing the band out there chatting, getting ready for their trims. So,
but as you know, you chat with the barber, so I was actually just going over this story. This band is sort of an offshoot of we grew up a lot of us grew up in a suburb of Chicago called Elgin, and we all picked up instruments around the same time at a young age. And we were part of a high school band for a long time. We were called we were called like 12 different things, but we were the Reverends for a really long time.
Okay.
And that band, when I went to school, because I was a little younger than everyone, when I went to college, we sort of stopped. And then college was weird because I loved, I don't know, I never wanted to do anything other than music. And then I went to college and I kind of didn't have a plan. And, you know, I more or less got away from music, which was weird. And then I think junior year of college, I was like, oh my God, I miss this so much. Like, what am I doing? And then sort of like music found a way back. And so when I graduated, moved to Chicago, that is when we started like plugging in the basement nonstop. Lots of cover songs at first, but also like writing songs. And they were just ready to play music. And it was, at the time, it was me and Rafi and some other members who are not with us anymore, just some friends. And we just went to open mics. We went to like any bar down the street that would allow us to play a 30-minute set. Anything. And then that band was about 3 months long until it became another offshoot of the band. That offshoot is now called Hollyy. And we found some members, like me and Pete, for instance, met in school. Me and Rafi grew up together. We met Dom right before we formed Hollyy. He's the only member of a band that I've ever played in that we didn't like know as a friend, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like some sort of like Facebook group or something. It was like, hey, we're looking for a bassist, and we put it up in such a hopeless way. We're like, I can't believe we're doing this. Like, we know so many people. Like, why can't we just have a friend like we always do? Like, want to, you know, give up everything else in their life and just come play in our band.
Yeah.
We were having no luck with finding a bass player, so we finally resorted to like a Facebook post or so. I can't even remember, but like we got Dom, and that was the best thing that ever happened to us. So it was just a mixture of like a lot of offshoots of bands that we grew up with, eventually formed into Hollyy, and we've been running for about 7 years now.
Nice. That's awesome. All right, so we're sitting here with you, Tanner. So let's talk about your particular origin story. You said that you were playing music pretty young. Was that like I'm jumping into band in school, or was that like I'm going to pick up a guitar with my friends and play in the garage? Was there music in your house with your family? Like, what was that looking like for you as a kid?
Yeah. Me and my sister, we were pretty musical. I have a pretty musical mother. It's funny, my dad is not musical at all, but he loves it. Like, he loves that we love it. And he gravitated towards it when we started gravitating towards it. But we were raised in theater and just got instruments. So we love the stage, I think, because of theater.
Yeah.
And then we got instruments pretty early. And my sister's a badass drummer. And I picked up the guitar. And I don't know, we had neighborhood friends who all like picked up instruments at the same time, and then they just like were a little scared to sing on stage, to be honest. And they were like, you know what? If you're not scared, you go ahead, be the lead singer that.
I mean, were you scared? I mean, just because you stepped up doesn't mean you weren't afraid. Like, what was that like to step up there and be the singer?
I loved it, and that's definitely from theater. I think like I loved the stage from an early age.
Yeah.
And theater is pretty goofy, not gonna lie, but like it instills a sense of like, you love the lights, you love the feeling, the performance, the off script things that even happen, and then you take that to like the clubs and rock shows, and it's all the same ideas of what performance is, but it's less hokey, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there is something magical about when you get in front of a crowd on a microphone. Once you have overcome or just put aside that fear, there's something very magical about that feeling of looking out about a group of people that are, delivering you rapt attention. And like it's almost kind of powerful, right? Like, yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so you were playing music pretty young. What was playing around the house? Like, what were your parents playing as you were growing up? What were you hearing music-wise?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have this funny, we have an inside joke in my family where, like, my parents, they love the band Chicago. I don't know, I don't even know what they listen to be. All I know is that we would listen to whatever that weird alternative Christian rock radio was until I was like 8 years old, and then me and my sibling rebelled, and we're listening to Green Day, and we're listening to like Simple Plan and Good Charlotte and all the like alt punk pop bands that were coming up in the early 2000s. So I couldn't even tell you what was going on when I was like a 6-7 year old. 6-7. But we very early rebelled from like whatever we weren't supposed to listen to.
Sure,
and then
yeah.
we got into like all those alt rock pop bands and classic rock bands. I had friends. I mean, you just reminded me of this. This wasn't necessarily what I was raised in, but like I was still pretty young. All my friends were just a little bit older, but they were still young. They were like 13 when I was 11. Or something like that, and they were like old 70-year-old men at the same time because they were listening to like Stax Records and Chess and all these like old blues and soul artists and like spinning it on vinyl, and they're like, you have to listen to the way that like, John Lee Hooker plays this verse, or you have to listen to the way that like B.B. King does this, and they're like 13-year-olds saying this.
Yeah.
So I felt that it's special to like have that in my upbringing too, because I would have probably never picked that up, or I would have never been introduced to that. I just happened to have like, 75-year-old wisdomous old men disguised as my 13-year-old friends at the time that like just had this insane collection of music, and they were imparting that on me. So
yeah, well, and clearly that's had an influence on the music you're making now. I mean, if you mentioned a lot of bands that don't necessarily immediately echo the sound that you guys have as a band. So how did you find your way to the sound of Hollyy?
Yeah. Well, I think like everyone, you go through your phase of whatever you're listening to. So we started in that world of like, we love rock music. We love the alt, the pop, the punk, classic rock. And then something a couple years later just like stuck about the soul music and like old school R&B and the way that even the classic rock bands were influenced by it and by blues artists. And we started going to a bunch of blues art like fests and shows, and it just like it had the biggest imprint for sure. It stuck. We were so like glued to it. And when it came to just like, we covered a lot of these songs. And when it came to writing, I mean, I don't know how to like, only those artists can create, music like that and when you experience things like that. So that's not really us, but we take an homage to that sort of music, and we just make it completely our own, or at least try to. And it's just like a little bit of an homage to like the most incredible music that we like were raised on. And I don't know how to really, someone once described Hollyy as like a garage soul band, and something about that was like perfect, because like we're a garage rock band that like just grew up idolizing and loving soul music. So like,
yeah, that's actually, I love that that framing of it, because it really is like garage soul. That is what you guys sound like, that's awesome. You mentioned your mom was musical, so she played music, she sang. What was her background?
Yeah, she was just she's a good singer, and she plays the piano, and she always was singing. She's always playing piano. She's always having some sort of music on. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, she always had Andrea Bocelli on.
Okay.
That was like formative for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a great musician. Though she maybe doesn't even claim to be, but I think she had a huge impression on me and my sister for just like loving music and being super supportive of it. So.
Yeah. So how are your parents feeling now, looking at you out doing what you're doing?
They love it. We can't keep them away sometimes from shows. We have a joke in the band where it's like, if we're playing within a 100-mile radius, like they're just going to pop up. But yeah, they love that both me and my sibling got involved in music and stay with music, and now like, you know, I do music full time, and my sister owns a brewery and also does music like almost full time at this point. So it's just like, I think they love it.
That's awesome. Was there ever any pushback from them as far as like, you know, not necessarily this quote unquote safest career path? I mean, was there ever like, have you thought about being a doctor or an accountant or like any of those discussions? Still
is not the safest career path. Still questioning it. No, never, which is cool. I mean, I think like it's one of those things where it's like the ball's in your court. If you can make some work and prove that you can go do it and you love doing it and, you know, you work hard at it, then I don't think they ever had another answer or another idea, you know, for what should, quote, be done. So. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this long enough now that I've seen a couple of different economic cycles where doing the safe thing didn't really work out well for people anyway. I mean, I'm old enough to remember like to have felt the impact of the '08 recession and seeing people who had done the safe thing, got the safe office job or whatnot, and you know, ended up losing out anyway. So, I mean... And that created an indie bloom. Yeah, exactly. It did. Yeah, and not just in art, but in... you mentioned your sister owning a brewery. I mean, here in Michigan, we're craft beer central, and like so many breweries popped up in that time, or like people that were like, I'm going to go into woodworking. I'm going to go into do this because I lost out doing this office thing or this other thing. So why not do art? Why not pursue that? We get the one life, right? You know? Totally. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like you said, it's not the safest path, but what is really? So I know. Yeah. All right, so okay, we're sitting here at Sound Bend. You're going to be doing a show today. Keep in mind, this might not come out for a few weeks, but are you guys out on tour right now? Like, what's the coming spring and summer looking like for you guys? Yeah, I do a lot with Hollyy. I do a lot with myself because I have like a solo band / project where some nights I'm doing completely alone. Some nights I have another band that's backing me up. But between the two projects, we've done 10 shows in the last 14 days. Oh, wow. And what we're kind of doing right now is like we're doing a one-off this weekend. We're doing an after show tonight, I guess, like a Notre Dame house party or something. Okay, all right. Which we love to do. We love to pop up and like do pop-up shows. But we're doing a lot of like Midwestern one-offs. So we'll be in Champaign, Illinois. We'll be, actually that's like our last of this whole run because we've been Appleton, Wisconsin, Davenport, Iowa, Ohio, Milwaukee. Now we're here, Madison. You know, we've been all over, and we've really tried to place an emphasis on touring this year. Yeah. By touring, I really just mean like getting out 3 times a week at least. Coming home, recharging, getting back out there, coming home, recharging. That's kind of our speed, I think we found in this band so far. This summer it just continues, and we'll do some East Coast dates. We're planning out a pretty, for us, extensive like 2-week West Coast tour. So like, we'll be moving this year. Yeah. Now, did I see you've got some new music coming out? Some single maybe coming out in the near future, or some? We just dropped an album, which was 4 years in the making. So thank God. And then other than that, we did just record, it's a single, but it's a single of a song that technically already exists. We just have been playing the song different now for so many years that we really wanted to re-record it as an alternate version that like is just how we actually play it now. Yeah. We have a whole new tagline at the end. You know, we have a whole new like, it's just so different. We love it. We love the energy it gives the song, and we can't wait to put it out. So other than that, though, we're kind of quietly writing in the background, but like, yeah, we're mostly focused on playing live right now. Okay. So is that something relatively new that a song has evolved for you on stage versus what came out in the studio? I mean, how do you know when a song is ready for that recording, for that moment of like, okay, it's going on the album or it's going out as a single? Yeah. It's not new for this band. We really like to, I would say, we sit on songs for so long. We play them live. And then one day we're just like, did you notice I did something a little different at the, and then we lean into the difference of that song, and then 2 years later, we've been playing it different than it's recorded, you know. Yeah. And I think it's a little bit of we get bored with some things, we try some new things. I think it's also that we have this like idea of like we just always want to evolve. We don't have to like stay stuck on the way it's played. We don't have a hit like, I don't know, we don't have a song out right now like, what's that silly Smash Mouth song, All Star, whatever. It's not like we have this song where people are like, you have to play All Star. It's like we have the liberty to kind of like move around with our songs because they're just not radio top 100s. You know, we
Sure.
can do whatever we want, and we could change the style, change the groove, change the BPM a little bit, and we do that. And I think that's what we've found. We're now creating some alternate versions other than what they've been recorded as.
So do you foresee having other tracks that maybe eventually get some kind of a new release?
Yeah, I think this is going to inspire a bit of a renaissance for us to like really look at some of our existing tracks and be able to change a little bit, tweak them. I won't even say change, just tweak some
Sure.
parts, release them as alternate versions. Just because that's what we do now live with a lot of these songs over the years, mixed in with like brand new songs too.
Yeah. Well, especially in the genre of music that you're in. I mean, it's a genre that really like they're like not improvisation. Well, I mean, a little bit of improvisation, you know, but yeah, that evolution is very natural for it. And I mean, I personally like, I don't want to have a band like release the same album over and over again, or like release the same kind of album. I like it when a band experiments and does something different. Like I love to see where they can go and like pull themselves creatively and artistically, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, so when did the album come out? Was it late last year, sometime last year? Or?
Yeah, it was 12/12.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it just worked out that way on a Friday, December 12th, 2025. So it still seems very fresh for us.
Yeah.
Again, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that like we were like promising people this album like in 2021, and so then the fact that like in 2025 we were finally releasing it, barely still in 2025. But yeah, it feels new to us. We are trying to play a lot of these songs that we like haven't played for years, that exist on the album live now. So as we're touring around, we try and do all these new songs that exist on this vinyl. We had it pressed on vinyl, which is big for us because
Yeah.
we never had vinyl before. Funny point though, someone forgot the vinyl today in Chicago.
Oh, no.
As we're here in South Bend, we will not be selling that at the merch stand tonight. We'll just have our t-shirts, but yeah, it's been great to have vinyl too, because that's like, I think that's just like this little thing of an indie band too, where it's like you work up to these little parts that you love to be able to do one day. One is just releasing an album, but then the other is like, oh, sick, you get to press it on vinyl. It's like a whole different level. So we feel fortunate to have that sellable and available.
That's awesome. Well, and anyone listening to this can check the show notes for the links. I'm sure the vinyl is going to be available for sale online, maybe on the website.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So yeah. Hop on over there, check that out. So when it came to putting out an album, was it just a moment of, okay, we've got, you know, enough songs to create an album, or was there a specific, you know, something that brought these songs together that like, oh, this is a whole thought, this is a whole idea?
Yeah. Truthfully, a little bit of both. We wrote a lot of thematic songs that works very well together. And then we also had a lot of songs that we had just sat on for many years. And we were waiting to kind of piece together within an album. And we did obviously piece them together, but I think they came from two different versions of us that still fit very well. There was a version that you hear of like, there's just like 6 songs that exist on the record that were all kind of like written in a groove within the same like 3 months of each other. And then there were 6 other songs that were written within 3 years of it, you know, but somehow they all thematically work well lyrically, they work well stylistically, and they felt good to just combine together on our first LP. So
Awesome. All right. Okay, so we got some shows coming up. We've got some variations and some songs coming out. What else is next for Hollyy?
Oh, we can't divulge our second business venture quite yet, outside of music. But rest assured, I think it's going to be the first thing that actually is lucrative in our career so far. So, no, I mean, for us, we have fun stuff coming up. Like, it's all about, for us, it's at this point, I think what we've realized, and it's not like we're, 50 years old with all this wisdom. We're still like young and going for it in a way, but like we have realized to slow down a little bit take our wins where we can and just like control what we can control. We want to stay happy, honestly, as an indie band. I think we've learned what it's like to be burnt out. We want to stay touring, and I think we've learned what that means is like we don't road dog it quite yet. We don't like commit to 3 weeks on the road, come back for 3 days, go back out for 4 weeks, come back for... It's like space it out. Like this weekend's a perfect example. You know, we're only 2 hours from home, and next week we'll do the same thing. It's like we stay in our pockets, we get moving, we go to places that people want us to be at. We post online all the time, like, tell us where we're coming. And then, we'll have like South Bend be like, come here. And then we'll have whatever, Iowa and Ohio and Wisconsin people just be like, come here and we'll make it work. And so I think we're finding a way to keep this going, to be sustainable. We want to write another album. We have a lot of festivals we're playing this summer. And I think we just want to like keep this thing going and scale up and do it in a way that doesn't burn us out.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So we're 5 years down the road. Where do you want to see Hollyy at that point?
Look, if we're not headlining Coachella in 5 years, then patience will be thin. Well, first of all, and this might sound silly, but it's like truly, we're at the point where it's like 5 years. I think we all just hope that we're still playing, that we're still doing it, we're still enjoying it. But it's also been fun to grow. It's like, we used to like play literally a bar down the street to maybe the 2 people that were in there. And now it's like, now we talk about like, where do we headline? Like Tally Hall in Chicago, or do we do bigger now? So it's like, it's been fun to kind of keep that top of mind as to, 5 years from now, like hopefully we have the same sites, like scale up the venues, scale up the festivals, scale up the tours, keep like write with people that we love, keep meeting artists and producers and mixers that we love. And like, I think that's the goal. It's just like keep doing it with the people we love, meeting new people on the road that we love, and scaling it all up. And in 5 years' time, I hope that that's exactly what we do when we kind of like blow away what we've done so far even.
Yeah, always climbing.
Always climbing, like Miley Cyrus said.
That's right. All right. Is there a release date for actually, which track is it that you're re-releasing or doing this new version of?
It's called What a Shame.
Okay.
And actually, I'm about to hand off the USB to our saxophone player when he comes tonight so that he can finally record his parts. And then we'll get that mixed, eventually mastered out. So long story short, we don't have a date.
Okay.
But hopefully within the next month and a half to 3 months.
It's coming down the line.
If we're being real, yeah.
That's right. Listen, there's a thing that...
It's in the pipeline.
In this business, there's a thing that we refer to as musician time. And that, a couple of weeks to 3 months, that's fully musician time. That's fine. So that's acceptable. So.
I'm glad you get it.
Yeah. All right. So Tanner, the band is Hollyy, and you guys are very shortly going to fill Denolf's Barbershop, a.k.a. the home of South Bend Records, with some sound. So we're looking forward to the show.
Heck yeah. We're glad to be here. It's a perfect time for me to have a little springtime allergies and colds, so that sucks. But the show must go on. So.
That'll add a little rasp to your performance, perhaps.
I know.
So.
It's like I've played so many shows in the last week where it's just like every night I'm like, this is the last one. Like there's no way. And then it just comes. Maybe it comes out as rasp. But so I got 2 more to do this week, and then I'll just sleep for 48 hours straight, and then we'll be good.
There you go. All right. Well, Tanner, thank you for taking time to hang out with us. And man, I hope everything turns out well for you. Keep us posted on what you're doing.
Thank you. Thanks
All right.
for having me.
Yeah, take care. You've been listening to Anywhere the Needle Drops from Red Chuck Productions. Keep up on new episodes of this show, our live events and various creations and other happenings over at redchuckproductions.com or by following us on social media at Red Chuck Productions. Special thanks to Hero Jr. for our theme music. You can check them out over at herojuniormusic.com. That is Hero, Hero, Junior, JR, music.com. A big shout out to Paul Clemson and Theory One Productions for handling sound duties and so much more. Check out their magic over at theory1productions.com. And a big thank you to Earthworks Audio for outfitting the Red Chuck studio. See their microphones and their other products over at earthworksaudio.com. Be sure to support all of our guests by visiting their websites, social media, clicking that subscribe button, seeing them live, and checking out their merch stores. Give musicians and artists your money. We'll be back with the next episode. Until then, thank you for your time. Here's to life.